This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store Forged Irish Stout. Delighted, as always, to be joined with Don Charles. We're here in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, for a massive fight week for Daniel Dubois. Other than that, how are things, mate? How are you?
Yeah, things couldn't be better. Really feel privileged and feel blessed to be here.
Absolutely, and it's no different for a massive fight week for Daniel Dubois. Filip Hrgovic is the man that stands in front of him. Excited for the challenge that Hrgovic could bring on Saturday night?
Well, excitement for the opportunity, yes, but whatever Mr. Hrgovic brings, we've made provisions to accommodate it.
Absolutely, and I suppose we'll firstly start off, and in the build-up, there was a face-off, a round table between Hrgovic and Dubois as well as other people, but Hrgovic sort of, them and Daniel going a bit back and forth. What did you really make of the back and forth between Filip and Daniel?
Yeah, I mean, Hrgovic is, I'll be honest with you, apart from Daniel getting in the ring and knocking him out, what I've actually noticed, this guy is very arrogant, and very, very arrogant individual. And part of what's going to be his downfall is the arrogancy. It's all right to be confident, but to be arrogant in the sense he thinks he's just got to turn up and he's won. He's going to get a rude awakening on the night.
Daniel mentioned in an interview previously with a Stomping Ground where Charlie sort of said that Hrgovic ain't really fought anyone that can hit as hard as Daniel and is really a banger like Daniel. Would you sort of echo comments like Daniel that Hrgovic ain't really facing anyone that can hit as hard as Daniel and has that physical presence like he does? Well,
yeah, you've only got to look at Daniel's knockout ratio on BoxRec, and you see the percentage is pretty high, certainly higher than Hrgovic's. And has he fought anyone like Daniel Dubois stylistically? Probably not. I've studied his fights. And anyway, it's not for me to start telling you ABC about Hrgovic. We've done our homework and all will be revealed on Saturday night.
Another thing that was said from Hrgovic in that round table, we talked about sort of Daniel's, he's got big arms, but he hasn't got a big heart, and questioned Daniel's heart a little bit. And Daniel's had that a couple times now. And was that sort of, and you mentioned the arrogance from Hrgovic there. What did you make of the question of Daniel's heart?
Well, that's his own observation. People said it prior to the Miller fight that Daniel is a quitter, and I don't hear anyone saying that anymore. So it's a narrative that was put out there. So obviously, Hrgovic is trying to get his confidence from still telling himself that, okay, what he thinks of Daniel. He's entitled to think of what he thinks of Daniel. That's not going to change when big shots are landing on his chin.
I was going to say that, because when it's a common narrative, when you look at it as a trainer, how much do you feel like you work towards to sort of like rubbish those narratives, I guess, and show that, from what you see in the gym, Daniel, he can go to the well?
It was something that was put out there by established, which I was disappointed at the time, boxing experts, so-called experts, and they spread like wildfire, and people bought onto it without examining it. But like I said, I think Daniel proved, and he raised that question mark in his last fight, and we've gone back to the gym and we're going to put layers on his development, which is, I believe, we've done that.
Obviously not looking past Hrgovic, but it is also rumoured that Anthony Joshua's next fight could be the winner of Saturday night. You've obviously had a relationship with Anthony Joshua. What would you make? Boxing relationship, yeah, of course, yeah. I suppose going into that fight, what would you make of Daniel, I suppose, shaping up against AJ?
No, we have to concentrate. It would be foolish to start talking about something else. No, the focus, in fact, is the unspoken in our camp, and it will remain so. The focus is on for the 1st of June against a man called Filip Hrgovic. It'll be foolish of us. I'm old enough, wise enough not to. You hear things, but you put your blinkers on and you just concentrate on the job ahead. The job ahead is Mr. Filip Hrgovic.
And a lot was made in the build-up, I suppose. Daniel mentioned it as well, and Filip mentioned it about the sparring that they had a few years ago with Daniel. And however that may go, obviously Hrgovic leaning towards sort of the side that it was in his favour. Is that sort of, how much do you think that plays a factor, or I suppose in training camp, when it comes to sort of potentially fighting someone who had a success against you in a spar?
Yeah, I mean, sparring is sparring, they say. And can I remind the people that Daniel, I wasn't present. I wasn't his coach back then. Daniel was only a mere 20 years old, if that. And Filip Hrgovic, if you want, again, there's so many areas one can try and draw, clutch and draw confidence. if that's where he's drawn his confidence from, then good luck to him. Like I said, that was 7 years ago. They're supposed to have sparred. Daniel's now 26 years old, you know, so let him carry on if he wants to convince himself. It sounds like a man that's talking to convince himself. So we'll see.
Just a sort of last couple from myself. We obviously 2 weeks ago in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, we see Oleksandr Usyk become the undisputed heavyweight world champion against Tyson Fury. I just was wondering your thoughts. Obviously, you've prepped to fight Usyk numerous times and seeing him become an undisputed champion now. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I must congratulate Mr. Usyk. I salute him. Yeah, I salute him. Irrespective of our past experiences with him, I didn't think, I'm not a hypocrite, I will say it, I'll say it now, I didn't believe he could do what he has gone and done as a heavyweight. So I have to salute him because he did what I didn't believe. Again, it just shows you opinions. Yeah. That was my opinion. Doesn't mean that he couldn't go and do what he's gone and done. So, full respect.
Absolutely, Don. I'll let you get on now, but thank you for taking time to speak to me. Always good to catch up with you, mate. And yeah, all the best for this Saturday, mate. Top man. Thank you, mate. Cheers.